Well, Barcelona has had a reputation as a very fast improving city for about 20 years, but much of that improvement has been focused on the physical fabric of the city. Barcelona is now at the point where it has the opportunity to demonstrate the economic improvement of the city, and this means unleashing the entrepreneurial character of the city, improving productivity, creating a business climate which is more enabling for businesses, and that's obviously the current agenda of the city government, and that's exactly right for the cycle that Barcelona is now in. Well, a lot of people are talking at the moment about the idea that cities have to be more business friendly and they have to be more investor ready. Now, one outcome of the global financial crisis was that, of course, capital has become much more mobile. There is more capital available to invest in fixed assets, infrastructure, real estate and amenities, and also to invest in business balance sheets. And there are more companies that are growing from locations in other parts of the world looking for European and North American locations. So there's much more mobility and therefore there's much more competition. But the needs of businesses and the needs of investors have changed. So everybody says the recipe is to become more business friendly and more investment ready, but nobody says what that really means. So I think a business-friendly city is a city that deliberately improves upon the national and the regional framework conditions, the laws, the regulations, the tax rates, and the talent pools, by doing something extra at the local level to really help serve businesses. So the extra things might be to improve the facilities that are available for particular kinds of businesses, to encourage clustering, or it might be to help businesses solve very particular kinds of problems. Well, Barcelona is already doing a lot of good things to improve its business friendliness. Firstly, the initiative that was taken after the Barcelona Growth initiative to improve the way the city behaves as a customer towards small businesses has been very important. The arrangements that have been made to pay invoices very promptly, to make sure that the city doesn't contribute to cash flow problems, that seems to me to be key. The second thing that the city has done that's very important is to focus on the needs of business in terms of reducing the regulatory burden, trying to make it easier to set up a business in Barcelona, to grow a business in Barcelona. And then the third thing, of course, has been creating this new center, which will provide businesses of every kind in Barcelona with advice, not just about how to navigate markets and how to build a growth business, but also how to navigate the regulatory structures. Barcelona is already a more business-friendly city than Spain is a business-friendly country. And these initiatives that Barcelona is taking now are going to add to that appeal and make Barcelona stand out as the most business-friendly city in Southern Europe. Two things stand out from the study that are useful and important, and the first one is that Barcelona has improved upon the framework conditions that it gets from Spain in a way that no other city has. So when we look at Stockholm and we look at Paris and we look at Hamburg and Vienna and Brussels, we find some other leading cities in Europe like Barcelona. They're all attractive cities, but most of them have better national framework conditions to work within. So each of them has done very well, but Barcelona is the one that has created the biggest local advantage when you consider its national conditions. The second thing to say is that nearly all of the other cities, these leading cities like Barcelona, are taking very specific initiatives now. Usually these involve either, firstly, trying to reduce red tape. One of the things that emerged before the financial crisis was that layer upon layer of governance and regulation emerged, and for a long time, while businesses were profitable, they put up with that. But after the crisis, business has become very sensitive to red tape and to bureaucracy, so many of the cities are trying to reduce that. The second thing is really about encouraging clustering. It's easier to service the needs of businesses if you think about groups of businesses in certain sectors, certain ages, certain points in their life cycle. So many of the cities are trying to encourage clustering. And then the third thing is that many of the cities are trying to provide businesses with tailored services around business growth, particularly thinking about the new markets and opportunities that exist because of the changes in the global economy. So what Barcelona is doing can be benchmarked amongst what the best cities in Europe are doing, but Barcelona has already created a decisive advantage. The other cities are really building upon national frameworks that are easier to work within. I think that Barcelona is ready now to enjoy a substantial cycle of increased investment that I believe will last for the next decade or more. There are several reasons for that. Firstly, Barcelona is a business-friendly city, which means it has great quality of life, a great brand, a livability, wonderful connectivity, superbly productive people, a high level of talent, and it's an environment that people want to be in. Now it's also adding all of this additional business friendliness, regulatory simplicity, additional help for companies and working directly with firms to help them grow. On the investment readiness side, we say that an investment-ready city is a city that understands what investors need and is able to prime itself towards their needs and bring forward not just one or two investment projects, but a pipeline of bankable and investment-ready initiatives over a period of time. Well, Barcelona has been working on this for a long time. And there are many places in Barcelona where there are opportunities for location and investment in sites. There are sectors in Barcelona which are going to grow quickly. There's opportunities for investment in firms, but there's also opportunities, I think, here for investors to invest in infrastructure and for other kinds of fixed assets. So I would say Barcelona is certainly an investment-ready city, and it's a city that's ready for the next wave of investment that's going to come. After the financial crisis, there was a period of retrenchment in investment. This is now ending. Capital has to find assets to invest in, and I think this capital increasingly understands that Barcelona offers a great combination of return on investment and a diversified portfolio of assets. Well, I think there are two or three very strong new dimensions in what the best cities are doing since the crisis. So the first one is that many of them are realizing that you have to invest in a strong business brand. It's very easy for a city to get a strong tourism brand or a great citizen brand, but to miss out the business brand. And so working collaboratively between city leaders and business leaders, you need to develop a distinctive message there. Otherwise, the business story can get lost in the story of livability and fun and leisure and entertainment. So that's one thing. The second thing that's very clear is that the changed economic geography means that we have to pursue new markets. In Asia, in Latin America, in Africa and elsewhere, the sources of growth in the future are different, and therefore our patterns of relationship building have to change. So part of the marketing is about deliberately finding those new markets. And then the third area of branding and positioning is to recognize that capital has different requirements. Increasingly, the very best cities are orientating themselves towards the needs of the larger sovereign wealth funds, the bigger private equity houses, the hedge funds, and they're thinking about how to bring forward a portfolio of opportunity at a bigger scale with a higher degree of certainty around it, and to make it easy for the big investors to come in, to add value, and if necessary to leave quite quickly, having turned something around. So this is a slightly different approach to positioning and branding than others. Some cities, for example, are deliberately courting the sovereign wealth funds and building a relationship with them. So those are the kinds of things that I would expect to see Barcelona doing some version of over the next year or so. Okay. So Barcelona is already one of the most attractive cities in Europe for enterprise, for talent, and for new sectors. It combines a wonderful quality of life with superb connectivity and a great place to be and do business. But Barcelona has also had some drawbacks. One of them is that the national framework of regulation is not easy to work within. And another one is that setting up a business and growing a business is never easy. So this new entrepreneurship support and business help center, I think, can make a decisive difference to add value to Barcelona's existing assets and to make the city even more business friendly at the same time.